Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Goddess Glow podcast. I'm your host, Ray Grillo, and I'm really excited today because I am going to be talking to you guys about uh, boundaries, setting boundaries, and for people pleasers, especially in empaths, how it can be a little difficult to set boundaries for us and what boundary setting looks like. Because I know I have come across a few people pleasers who have asked me, like, what is a boundary anyway? And how do I set boundaries? Like, yes, I know I have to set boundaries, but what do I have to do in order to set a boundary? And so that's what this podcast is going to go over. And I just wanted to invite you guys to go ahead and join my 21-day Abundantness Bug challenge. It is opening up on April 1st. That's the start date. I'm really excited for it. And I love helping others create abundance in their life, be it, whatever you find abundance to be. If abundance means a lot more money in your life, because you want more freedom, security, financial security, whatever it might be, if abundance of love and connections and intimate connections with other people. And so that is what the 21-day abundant as fuck challenge is going to help you with, is to define what abundance actually means for you so that you can go ahead and ask the universe what it is that you truly want so that you can actually get it and actually just establishing what it is that you want. So I'm really excited for that. And go ahead and join the waitlist, whatever this episode is released, or just sign up for the course. Okay, so going on into the episode of setting boundaries. It is extremely important for an empath, just for anyone, to set a boundary. And if you look at people pleasers or empaths and you look at their childhood and you go ahead and reflect back, because if you're listening to this, you're probably a people pleaser or empath, and you sort of see how your parental figures had a play in your people pleasing. One, you might be used again to the inconsistency and chaos of a household. It wasn't a place that you felt secure in. So you always had to anticipate, and you had to anticipate what your parental figure was going to be feeling. And you had to anticipate how the household energy was going to be. And a lot of the times, this type of parenting too ends up being really controlling. Or if you do have controlling parents or a parental figure, it is hard for you to set boundaries now because you weren't able to express yourself as a child. It was always what other people wanted. And sooner than later, you figured, might as well keep the peace. This is the way that it is. I have to anticipate what the other person wants, and it's about what the other person wants, not what my needs are. And so that's another part of it. Your needs were not met, be it that you had, a lack of love, a lack of intimacy, a lack of feeling secure and safe within your household, or within like the invisible walls of or connection with your parental figure, so to speak. So you also probably were not allowed to say no. Like, no to your parent was like, what is going on right now? Um, I am your superior and you have to listen to me type vibe. Um, and with that, it's a little, or you could have been sort of taking on what your parents did. And that is watching them never say no to people and complaining behind their backs later on, being like, I really don't want to do this, but I have to do it. Um, or someone who was just a busy bee and always had to work. They were a workaholic and they could never say no to their bosses. And so you may have picked that up too, because You want to, make your parents proud, whatever it might be, the people pleasing, you just picked it up. And you're going to learn these survival skills from your parents or develop them on your own, whatever it might be. So, going and fast forwarding to today, it might be a little hard for you to set those boundaries. It might be a little hard for you to even know what a boundary is because you were never taught what a boundary was. Or if you did have a boundary, it was always pushed. And so you just feel like boundaries were meant to be pushed. And with controlling parental figures, it's a little, it resonates throughout your entire life. You can have friends who will push your buttons. And if you ask them not to do something, then it probably, when they push those buttons, you are used to it. And you're just like, okay, well, I'll just let it slide. Whatever, maybe they will be better next time, or they just said sorry, whatever it might be, but you still feel bad about it. Like you feel like you're always compensating for the other person. And that's not normal. It's not right. You're not supposed to compensate your beingness and you for another person. You have to understand that this is where self-love comes in, and also knowing that your self-worth and self-esteem and working on that, and knowing that you need to love yourself because you are worthy of love. And once you establish your worth, once you are able to give yourself and internalize that love that you are seeking from other people, it becomes so much easier to set boundaries because you know what you are willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with. So it's important to get that self love practice in. And yeah, it's going to suck a little bit because you're going to be thinking about what other people are going to think, what they're going to feel. You don't want people to feel bad. And, your achy, breaky, bleeding heart over there is going to feel bad when you start establishing these boundaries. And when you start setting these boundaries, it's important that you stick to them. And if you don't stick to them, it becomes like, it's integrity with yourself. You lose integrity with yourself and it doesn't feel good. It's like a poison to your soul and it lowers your vibration and it just shows other people how to treat you. Like, this is okay. Like, they can get away with treating you like shit. And even if you ask them multiple times, and you go right back into that relationship, or you go, whatever it might be, significant other, parentals, family, whatever it might be, you're saying, like, okay, it's okay to treat me like this. And that's where you're going to have the courage and the vulnerability to speak up for yourself, start opening up that throat chakra, start voicing your opinion and not caring what other people are going to say. Because at the end of the day, it's not about them. It's about you. It's about how you feel. And being a light worker, empath, people pleaser, it's important for you to set these boundaries energetically wise so that you're not drained all the time. It's important for you to know what you are worth because you have all these gifts to give to the world and you can't give it to people that aren't willing or are not going to cherish your gifts. So you have to start weeding people out of your life, and it's okay and it's going to suck for a little bit because you've established long-term relationships with some people, but at the end of the day it's like they're not good for you. Are you having to reach down and save these people all the time? And is it even saving if they're not willing to do the work or put in the effort, as much effort too as you? They should be putting in the same effort as you to keep that relationship alive or to keep that connection. If they're not, it's time to let them go. And yeah, it's going to hurt. And that's where the healing can be done. And it's just knowing that you love yourself And whenever you say no, you're saying yes to everything that you want. You're saying yes to yourself. And that is the most important person is you. You should be your number one priority. So what does it look like setting a boundary? I want to give you an example because this one, oh my goodness. Okay. I want to go grab my cup over here. So people usually mistake my name. My full name is Rayanna, and they say Rihanna, Rihanna, whatever it might be. And I used to let people get away with it. And Ray is pretty, it's a pretty easy name. I feel it's 3 letters. And it's like, ray of sunshine or something, ray of light. And I I had this email with a coach, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't her that did this. I'm pretty sure it was one of her assistants who may have not known. They haven't really talked to me, and is my business coach. And I got this cut. I was thinking too, I was like, I need to tell them about my name. Like, my name is not, they spelled it REA. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to keep it that way. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't want to make a big deal about it. And then it's like they send me, my coach sends me this gift, and it's a cup with REA on it, and it's my name spelled wrong. So that's an example of not setting a boundary, not letting people know how to treat me, like how to treat me. I should have been like, hey, like my name's RAE, it's Ray. And I didn't do that. So now I have this memento of me telling people, like, hey, my name's important. Names are important. Names are very important. And it's important for you to say people's names, use people's names. People like it when you use their names. And okay, so going off on that little tangent. But yeah, so that's my reminder to, like, hey, like, your name's important. You are important. So, okay, there's like little doggies outside. Okay, so that's just my little memento to remember to always share my name, to teach people how to treat me. Going on to another boundary is there might be, let's see here. I'm just going to go with what has happened, or I see a lot happen in youth or like young adults, and probably even like, I like everyone will go through this, but if you end up going to a party and you're going with your friends and you tell them in the beginning, like, hey, I don't want to be drinking tonight. I don't want to do, I don't want to do anything that is like too crazy. I just want to, keep it chill, have a chill night. And later on, you're finding that you're being sort of pushed or peer pressured, whatever it might be, to do whatever that you don't want to do. And you stated this in the beginning, and it's like, okay, like, yeah, you can either cave in and then like let people know, like, they can treat you this way later. They just like a little nudge, and you'll be doing whatever they want you to do. And so it's important to actually stick to that. Like, if you're just going to have one glass of wine that night, just have one glass of wine that night versus like a whole bottle because of peer pressure, whatever it might be. And there will be friends who, won't respect that. They're like, well, why aren't you going to get messed up with us? Or why can't you just enjoy your time with us? And the thing is, like, yeah, you can enjoy your time still, but it's like you have to either get up in the morning, you have things you need to do, or you're trying to lose weight. I wanted to omit trying, you're losing weight or releasing weight, I should say. And like, you don't want to be drinking so much. You don't want all those carbohydrates and from the drinking and calories. So it's up to you, and it's your responsibility to share this with your friends. It's important for you to voice what you are doing, and you don't have to give this whole long explanation. You shouldn't have to give a whole long explanation. You should be like, no, this is it. Here's like a reasoning why, if you want to, if they're asking you. And your friends will be respectful of that. And if they aren't, those you have to reflect on that relationship, and you have to see if that relationship is something that you want to be a part of still. Because it is important who you hang out with and your goals. If they respect you and they know that you're trying to achieve something, or they're whatever it might be, they just want to support you. Another boundary would be if, say, you're in a relationship and it's not that great of a relationship because it sort of feels one sided, and you're putting in all this work into this relationship, and it sucks because you feel like you don't ever get what you need out of the relationship. And because you're used to being pushed around, you're used to that sort of not being able to say no to the person, and or to like the authority figure in the household. That's like your home. So it's becoming aware of the fact that this has happened to you as a child, and it's a survival mechanism that you use. That people pleasing is a survival mechanism. And when you're not voicing your opinion, when you're not sharing it, and it's just it's normal for you. So you have to break that. You have to break that homeostasis part within your subconscious mind so that you can live a less draining life, and so that you can show others how to treat you as well. And if you're in a relationship where you're not setting your boundaries, and or either it's like you're trying to say that you're setting your boundaries, like an example would be, hey, I really don't like it when you call me this name when you're angry, or I would like to have some time away from you for before an argument starts. I need to go collect my emotions. I feel like it'd be good for you to collect your emotions. They keep pushing your buttons. They keep pushing you, pushing you, pushing you to either talk to them, or they keep calling you that name that you don't like to be called. And so it's up to you to break it off. If they're not respecting that, it's up to you to start putting your foot down and actually leave this person. Because when you do that, and you finally do that, and that might be a cycle for you. You might keep getting relationships like this where people don't respect you. And that's because of that people pleasing thing. And in the beginning, they're like, okay, like, ooh, this person is going to feed my ego. They're going to let me have this control over them. And so it's a power play, it's a little ego thing for them. Um, but when you start setting those boundaries, it gets harder later down the line because it's like, well, you changed. You've never set boundaries before. You changed. You're a totally different person. But it's like, no, you're done with the bullshit. So you want to move on from that. And so it's important that you stick to your guns and you do not allow that to happen, because once you break that cycle, then it's like, the universe will be like, okay, I'm going to test you. And then you're like, nope, done with that bullshit. And then the universe is like, okay, maybe just like one more little thing. We'll see. It's just like not as hard, but like still, let's test it. Let's see. And they'll send you another person like, oh, and then you'll be like, nope, done with the bullshit. And then that's when you'll be able to attract other people, be it friends, significant others, whatever it might be, business partners, who will actually respect you because you've said no to all of the ones that are trying to bullshit you. And then it's like you saying no to them is like saying yes to, like, yes, I deserve to have intimate, connecting relationships with people. I deserve to have a secure, loving relationship with other people and not feel like I'm having my boundaries pushed on. Boundaries, just envision it as like a little, it's a fence. In a physical sense, it's like a fence or a wall. And so when it comes to people and relationships and communication, you have to envision your boundaries and think of it that way. Like, do you feel it being pushed on? Do you feel like it being bulldozed on? Because if so, then you definitely have to probably ex-nay on that relationship. You have to just cut it out. And it sucks. It really sucks. But that's where it's important for you to keep practicing that self love towards yourself so that you don't keep falling into those cycles. The more love and attention that you keep giving to these other people, and also with the people pleasing, it's people pleasing is it's a manipulation because you're not being yourself. You're not being your authentic self. You don't love yourself enough to be your authentic self. So you're going to morph into whatever it might be that this person's going to like. So that's really important. People pleasing is manipulation. So you have to break that off. You have to just be yourself. And when you are yourself, you are going to be of a higher vibration and you're going to attract the people that actually like you. And it doesn't matter if the other people fall out, it really doesn't. It's better for you that they fall out of your life, and they naturally will, and sometimes not in the best ways. It's going to feel pretty scary at times, or yeah, it's just going to suck. But again, that self love. And that's why you probably will have a support group around you. Hopefully, you have a support group around you who will understand that. And if not, then your vibration will get to a place to where you will attract your soul tribe. So, those are just some examples of how to set boundaries. And if you're a parent, who is a people pleaser, I feel like it is extremely important for you to take this into consideration because your children are going to pick it up from you. And also, if you're a controlling parent, just think about your children when they grow up and think about how I'm going to might be an extreme sense, but even for me, probably, or for women, I want to say that I had a problem saying no. And so if there's a dude and I just didn't want any conflict, I would say, like, yeah, okay, like we can hang out or give him my number. It's so awkward too. It's like that. Um, Allowing like creepy men to like just think about it that way. Like your child is going to grow up and they're going to not be able to say no to someone that's going to or that has ill intentions for them. So it's important to be aware of being able to allow your children to say no. And what are they saying no to? Why are they saying no to you? Even at a young age, a toddler's like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, okay, so like, why don't they want to do it? Figure out why. And if they really don't want to do it, allow that, respect that for your child. And so that they can grow up and set boundaries and not be a people pleaser and get themselves in shitty situations. So I am going to end my podcast right here. And I hope you guys found this podcast beneficial. Please leave a comment and a rating on the podcast wherever you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or podcasts. And also, remember, go and sign up for my 21-day Abundant as Fuck challenge. And we start on April 1st. And I can't wait to see you. All right. See you on the other side. Bye.